Hello and welcome to a Birds Locker podcast draft update. Day 3 with rounds 4 to 7 is now done and dusted, and that is the end of the NFL draft. I'll keep it a bit more simple today as there was a lot going on. Trades galore for the Eagles as they set a new record for most trades in a single draft with a total of 7. The trade started early with trading pick 120 to the Dolphins for a 2025 third round pick. I think this was really smart stockpiling for next season's draft, as you never know when those picks come in handy. They may come in handy in that draft the next year, or they may use those picks potentially before the trade deadline to get a trade happening. Then we traded pick 123 back to the Texans where it originally came from for 127 and a 2025 fifth round pick. More stockpiling of picks and great work by Howie. And then we finally used a pick. With the 127th pick, the Eagles selected Will Shipley, running back from Clemson. Reaction to this, he's the 7th highest graded running back in the draft. He's got some great versatility, which seems to be the theme with a lot of our picks. He's a quick burst runner, a good pass catcher, and is a good kick returner. And he has no rush to see the field, so I do really like the pick. And then following that, we traded pick 132 and 210 to the Lions for pick 164 and a 2025 fourth round pick. Again, more stockpiling of picks, which I think is smart at this point. Then with the 152nd pick, the Eagles selected Ainias Smith, wide receiver from Texas A&M. Reaction to this, he's a shifty possession slot receiver who has a blend of power and elusiveness, and he has potential as a gadget player with some experience at running back in college. Probably a player whose value is about this spot. It's not really a great value pick, but it's not a bad pick either. He's a bit of a project and may only turn out to be a role player, but it's a risk that I think this team's willing to take. We traded up this time with picks 164 and 201 going to the Colts for pick 155. And with the 155th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles made the fairy tale come true and drafted the Axeman, Jeremiah Trotter's son, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker from Clemson. My reaction to this, Jeremiah Trotter was one of my favorite Eagles of all time. And to see his son drafted in Philly is just beautiful, especially the moments with Jeff Lurie and Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman on the phone. You can just tell how much they value that family. And it does make me feel pretty old. I mean, when I first got into watching the Eagles, I was watching Jeremiah Trotter play, and now I'm watching his son play next year, this coming season. But aside from the sentimental side of this, we grabbed the 3rd highest graded linebacker in the draft at pick 155. This is just another great value pick, and watching games of him at Clemson, he has a lot of potential and was a very high production guy in terms of stats and numbers. The reason why he probably slid down to this low, he wasn't as good in the athletic testing and that side of it, and is maybe a little too similar to Nakobe Dean, so that's why we probably didn't want to reach for him in like the 3rd or the 4th. But I believe he'll develop into a solid starter for this team. And yeah, time to get those 54 jerseys back out. Another trade this time, we sent pick 171 to the Jets for picks 185 and 190. And then with the 172nd pick, the Eagles selected Trevor Keegan, guard from Michigan. A position that we did need depth at, so we grabbed a player who's started all games in a really good program, a national championship winning program. It's not an exciting pick, but depth is required at the position, and I'm sure they believe that he's got room to grow as a player. Then with the 185th pick, the Eagles selected Johnny Wilson, wide receiver from Florida State University. He's a tall target. He's got very unique hand size and wingspan. He could certainly factor in the red zone as a big target to throw to, but the drawbacks are that he's still very raw and he has to improve his footwork and body control to become a consistent receiver. And finally, with the 190th pick, the Eagles selected Dylan McMahon, center from NC State. He was a really good player at NC State, very solid, didn't make a lot of mistakes, but it's a bit of a lesser competition there. He'll need to improve his strength and size significantly to match it with guys in the NFL, but it was a position of need and needed depth regardless, so we'll see how he goes in training camp. Overall, a couple of really handy pickups with great value in Will Shipley and Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who I believe will look to be involved fairly early on in the season. A couple of likely backups mixed in with some projects or potential cuts, who knows, which is expected every year from every draft. Also some real good stockpiling of picks. We got an extra 3rd, 4th and 5th for next year. I think this was another solid day for Howie and his team, and to add that to that, an already an outstanding draft. Could not be happier with the outcome of it, to be honest. I'll look to do a full breakdown of the roster position by position in the coming weeks as we finalise the training camp roster, add signing our undrafted free agents, etc. Now we wait as we build towards the preseason and everything that comes with that. So thank you for watching, and as always, go Birds.